You are sitting at the kitchen table. It is 10:30 on a Tuesday night. The house is quiet, but there is a noise in your head that sounds like a siren. She just walked in the door. She smells different. Not bad, just different. Maybe it is a perfume you didn't buy her. Maybe it is the faint scent of another man's car. You ask her a simple question. You don't scream, you don't accuse, you just ask, "Hey, you're late. Where were you?" And then the explosion happens. She doesn't just answer you, she detonates. Her eyes go wide, her face turns red, and she starts screaming. "Why are you always checking on me? Can't I have a life? You are so controlling. You are suffocating me." She throws her keys on the counter. She storms past you. She slams the bedroom door so hard the pictures on the walls shake. You are left sitting there, stunned. You feel your heart hammering in your chest. You start to think, maybe I am controlling. Maybe I am insecure. Maybe I shouldn't have asked. Brothers, stop right there. That confusion you feel, that guilt washing over you, that is not an accident. It is a design. It is a psychological weapon aimed directly at your good nature. You just witnessed the most reliable sign of guilt in human history. An innocent woman does not explode when asked a simple question. An innocent woman says, "Oh, traffic was bad," or "I lost track of time with Sarah." A guilty woman attacks because she needs you to be the villain before she can go on the offensive. Her anger is not an emotion, it is a strategy. It is a smoke bomb thrown to cover her tracks while she escapes the truth. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. We need to surgically remove the lies you have been told about female anger in relationships. Society tells you that if a woman is yelling, she is expressing her truth. It tells you that you must have done something to provoke her. But when it comes to infidelity, anger is almost always a mask for terror. She is terrified of being exposed. She is terrified of losing her lifestyle. She is terrified of her reputation being destroyed. But she cannot show you terror because terror looks like guilt. So she converts that fear into rage. Rage makes her look powerful. Rage makes you look weak. Rage changes the subject from "what did she do" to "why are you upsetting her?" Today, we are going to walk through the dark psychology of this reaction. We are going to look at the mechanism called DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. We are going to look at why she needs you to be the villain so she can justify her betrayal. I am going to tell you stories of men who crumbled under this anger and lost everything, and the story of one man who stood in the fire, didn't flinch, and walked away with his dignity intact. Let me tell you about a man named Tom. This is the story of the loser, the man who let her anger rewrite his reality. Tom was a kind man. He was soft-spoken. He worked in IT, paid the mortgage, and loved his wife Jenny more than anything. They had been married for 6 years. Jenny started going out with her work friends every Friday. Tom didn't mind, he trusted her. But then Fridays turned into Saturdays, and the phones started getting locked, and the passwords changed. One night, Tom saw a text pop on her screen while she was in the shower. It just said, "I miss your skin." Tom felt like he had been punched in the gut. When Jenny came out of the shower, towel wrapped around her, Tom held up the phone. His hands were shaking. He asked, "Who is this?" Jenny didn't freeze. She didn't cry. She lunged. She grabbed the phone out of his hand and threw it on the bed. Then she got in his face. She screamed, "Why are you always checking on me? Can't I have a life? You are so controlling. You are suffocating me." She throws her keys on the counter. She storms past you. She slams the bedroom door so hard the pictures on the wall shake. You are left sitting there, stunned. You feel your heart hammering in your chest. You start to think, maybe I am controlling. Maybe I am insecure. Maybe I shouldn't have asked. Tom apologized. Read that again. Tom apologized. He apologized for reading a text where another man said he missed his wife's skin. He apologized because her anger was so convincing, so righteous, that he thought he must be the crazy one. He bought her flowers to make up for it. Jenny took the flowers, smiled a cold little smile, and kept seeing the guy for another 2 years. Tom lost 2 years of his life because he was afraid of her anger. He mistook her volume for truth. He didn't understand that the louder she screams, the deeper the lie. You have to understand the concept of preemptive strikes. In war, you bomb the enemy's runway so their planes can't take off. In a relationship, a cheating woman bombs your confidence so your questions can't take off. If she makes you afraid to ask, "Where were you?" she never has to answer the question. She trains you like a dog. She teaches you that asking questions leads to pain. Asking questions leads to a fight. Asking questions leads to no sex for a week. So, you stop asking. You swallow your gut instinct. You learn to live in the dark because the light hurts too much. This is how good men end up raising other men's children. This is how good men end up with diseases they didn't catch. They are trained into silence by the strategic anger of a woman protecting her secrets. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. Now, let's look at the delusional narrative. Let's talk about the woman who actually believes her own lies. Let's talk about a woman named Rebecca. Rebecca was married to a man named Steve. Steve was a provider. He wasn't perfect, but he was solid. Rebecca got bored. She started an emotional affair with her yoga instructor. It turned physical quickly. When Steve started noticing the red flags, the new underwear, the weight loss, the constant texting, he asked her about it. Rebecca exploded. But her anger wasn't just tactical, it was delusional. She yelled, "You neglected me for years. I am finally doing something for myself, getting fit, finding peace, and you were trying to ruin it. You just want me to be miserable like you." In Rebecca's mind, she wasn't cheating. She was finding herself. She was the victim of a boring marriage. Her anger was real to her because she had convinced herself that Steve was the villain. Every time Steve asked a question, she felt like the victim being persecuted. She felt justified in her anger because in her twisted reality, she was owed this happiness. Steve tried to reason with her. He tried to use logic. He said, "But you were sleeping with another man." She screamed back, "Because you left me alone emotionally." See what she did there? She took her action, adultery, and made it his fault. She projected her guilt onto him until it looked like blame. Steve spent months trying to fix himself, trying to be more attentive, trying to be better, while she continued to betray him. He was trying to fill a bucket that had a hole in the bottom. He didn't realize that you cannot reason with someone who is living in a fantasy world where their betrayal is actually heroism. This leads us to a critical realization. Anger provides a dopamine hit that masks shame. Shame is a painful emotion. It makes you feel small. It makes you feel dirty. No human wants to sit in shame. Anger is different. Anger feels powerful. Anger feels big. Anger pumps adrenaline into the system. When you question a cheating woman, she feels a flash of shame. It hurts. To stop that hurt immediately, she converts it into anger. It is a survival reflex. She attacks you to stop feeling like a bad person. She makes you the bad person so she can feel superior again. If she screams at you, she doesn't have to look at herself. You become the problem. You become the enemy. And it is much easier to cheat on an enemy than it is to cheat on a husband. By fighting with you, she validates her affair. She tells herself, "See, he is so argumentative. He is so mean. This is why I need the other guy." She uses the fight she started to justify the betrayal she is committing. It is a closed loop of insanity, and you are trapped in the middle of it. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. Now, let's tell you about a winner, a man named David. David understood the game. He saw the matrix. David came home one evening and found a receipt in his wife's car for a restaurant he hadn't been to for a meal for two on a night she said she was working late. David walked into the living room. His wife, Lisa, was watching TV. David didn't yell, He didn't shake. He held up the receipt and said, "Tell me about this." Lisa looked at it, and her face went pale. Then the transformation happened. Her eyes narrowed. She stood up. She started screaming. "You were going through my car? You don't trust me? I can't believe you. I am working my tail off for this family, and you are treating me like a criminal." She got loud. She got in his face. She tried to snatch the receipt. She threw out the classic lines, "You're insecure. You're crazy. I went with a client." David didn't flinch. He didn't step back. He didn't raise his voice. He used the most powerful weapon a man has: silence. He let her scream. He let her vent. He watched her like a scientist watching a rat in a maze. He waited until she ran out of breath. Then he said, calmly and coldly, "I am not asking about your work. I am not asking about my trust. I am asking why you had a romantic dinner with another person when you told me you were at the office. Your anger is not an answer. It is a confession." Lisa froze. The air left the room. David didn't apologize for looking in the car. He didn't defend his insecurity. He stayed on the point. He held the frame. He realized that her anger was a flare gun signaling exactly where the fire was. When she tried to scream again, David simply turned around and walked to the bedroom. He packed a bag. He said, "I am going to stay at a hotel. When you are ready to tell the truth without screaming, you can call me. Until then, we have nothing to say." He left. He didn't argue. He removed his attention. He removed his presence. He showed her that her anger had no power over him. It didn't make him cower. It made him leave. 2 days later, Lisa called. She wasn't screaming. She was crying. The wall had crumbled. Without him there to fight with, she had to sit with her own guilt. She admitted everything. David didn't take her back immediately. In fact, he eventually divorced her because the trust was gone, but he walked away with his sanity. He walked away knowing he wasn't crazy. He walked away knowing he didn't let a cheater gaslight him into believing he was the villain. David won because he recognized that anger is a distraction tactic. He refused to be distracted. So, how do you respond when she gets angry? How do you handle the explosion?
First, you must maintain emotional zero. Imagine you are a rock in the ocean. The waves crash against you, but you do not move. If you get angry back, you lose. If you scream back, she wins, because now the fight is about how you are fighting, not what she did. She wants you to lose control, so she can point her finger and say, "Look, he is scary, he is abusive." Do not give her that footage. Stay deadly calm. It terrifies a liar when their victim refuses to panic. Second, do not jade. Do not justify, argue, defend, or explain. When she says, "You were controlling for checking my phone," do not say, "I am not controlling, I just..." No. You say, "We are not talking about my control. We are talking about the messages to Mark." Pivot back to the truth. Every time she throws a distraction grenade, step over it and walk back to the evidence. Be a broken record. Force her to look at the sin she is trying to hide. Third, recognize the Darvo technique in real time. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. She denies. "I didn't do anything." She attacks. "You are paranoid and jealous." She reverses victim and offender. "I am the one being hurt by your accusations." When you see this happening, call it out. Say, "You are attacking me to avoid answering the question." It won't work. Naming the demon strips it of its power. It shows her that you see the strings she is trying to pull. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. You need to understand that a woman who loves you and has nothing to hide wants you to feel secure. If you ask a loyal woman, "Hey, who's this guy?" she might be confused, she might be a little annoyed, but she will show you. She will say, "That's my cousin," or "That's a coworker. Here, look at the texts." She offers reassurance because she cares about your peace of mind. A cheater attacks your peace of mind because it threatens her secrets. The difference between reassurance and rage is the difference between innocence and guilt. Do not let her weaponize your love against you. She knows you love her. She knows you don't want to fight. She uses that against you. She counts on your desire for peace to make you surrender. She thinks, if I make this difficult enough, he will just drop it. Prove her wrong. Be willing to sit in the discomfort. Be willing to ruin the night. Be willing to ruin the weekend. The truth is worth the conflict. And here's the hardest pill to swallow. Be willing to walk away. Her anger is a bluff. She is betting that you need her more than you need the truth. You have to show her that your self-respect is more important than the relationship. The moment you are willing to lose her is the moment she loses her power to manipulate you. If she screams, leave the room. If she refuses to answer, leave the house. If she continues to lie, leave the relationship. Your gut instinct is your best friend. That feeling in your stomach when she explodes, that is your body telling you that you are in the presence of a threat. Listen to it. Do not let her words override your instincts. Words are cheap. Anger is cheap. But the truth is expensive, and you have to be willing to pay the price to get it. When a woman gets angry at a valid question, she is telling you that she does not respect you. She is telling you that she thinks she is above the law of the relationship. She is telling you that she believes she can bully you into submission. Do not accept that frame. You are the prize. You are the architect of your life. Do not let a demolition crew live in your house and tell you they are just rearranging the furniture. The anger will fade when the truth comes out, and the truth always comes out. It might take a week, a month, or a year, but when it does, you want to be the man who stood tall and asked the hard questions, not the man who cowered in the corner and apologized for seeing what he saw. Brothers, I need a small favor. Your support keeps this channel alive. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. The end game of her anger is your silence. Do not give her your silence. Give her your resolve. Look through the rage and see the fear, see the guilt, see the woman who knows she has broken something she cannot fix, and then decide if that is a woman you want to build a future with. Because a woman who attacks you for asking for clarity is a woman who will burn your life down the moment it becomes convenient for her. Be like David. See the confession in the scream, and walk away toward a life where you don't have to be a detective to be a husband. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest in the comments. When you confronted her, what was the specific phrase she used to try and shut you down? Was it, "You're insecure," "You're crazy"? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's build a database of their tactics so no other brother has to fall for them again. I'll be reading the replies. Stay strong, brothers.